Here he comes.
Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Itoje, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Ben Ainslie has entered the waiting room.
Good morning.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. And you? You hanging in there?
Not bad. Not bad. Right. I'm Alastair Campbell. This is the latest Living Better in Lockdown interview ahead of publication of my delayed book on depression, Living Better. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by a friend of mine. Can I call you a friend, Maro?
You can, certainly.
Okay. Well, maybe we should say a mentee, the guy that I've made what he is. Saracens and England rugby star, Maro Itoje. So, Maro, first question, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's been very, very interesting times in which we're living in, but on the whole, I'm well.
So, Ben Ainslie, very, very lovely to see you. And I want to first of all ask you, how are you?
Cheers, Alastair. Yeah, good morning. I'm fine, thanks. I'm here in Portsmouth. We've got our America's Cup team, and we've been slowly trying to get back to activity as the COVID restrictions have been easing. And we just managed to actually get back on the water last week for the first time in 3 months. So as a salty sea dog that I am, it's been a frustrating time, as it of course has been for everybody. And
is that the longest you've ever gone without sailing?
Yeah, somebody asked me that the other day, and yeah, I think since the age of about probably 8 or something like it's the longest time I've been off the water. And the first time getting back on the water, actually, I got a little motorboat which I come across the Solent from the Isle of Wight to our base here in Portsmouth. And that first time stepping back in that boat, and then just that sensation of the water rippling under the hull of the boat and the freedom that you get when you're out in the water, that recognition of that feeling was quite a powerful moment, actually, that I hadn't realised how much I'd missed it.
Have you enjoyed lockdown?
I have in certain respects. I've found lockdown, I've gone through waves, to be honest. So initially I felt as if I lacked a little bit of purpose, I lacked a little bit of direction. Then I became at ease with the new reality, and I was just finding ways to keep myself occupied, but also enjoy the downtime, because often in life moves at such a pace which is really hard to reflect, really hard to take stock, and lockdown gave me those opportunities to do so.
Initially really frustrated, I'm talking to the expert here, but frustrated with how we were reacting to it as a country. We were in Italy, training in Italy as this lockdown came into force in Sardinia. So we could see how quickly that was impacting the Italians and how serious it was becoming. Meanwhile, we had people going to rugby matches and Cheltenham racehorses and so on, and thinking, this is nuts, what are we doing? And then as those restrictions came into place, you're being frustrated that, from a sporting perspective, not being able to develop the team as we needed to. We're in a race against time, against these other teams. And, our key opposition in New Zealanders are, fortunate in a way. They're coming from, much smaller population, able to lock down the borders. Okay, they had, 6 weeks to 2 months of full lockdown, but now they're out to the other side of that.
So would you be actually, part of your thinking every day would be, oh my God, the New Zealanders are getting this under control better than we are, therefore that's going to be a competitive disadvantage to me?
Yes.
I came to talk to you and the team at Saracens about mental health, and I thought it was really interesting. We've talked about this before, that I felt a few of them were guys who wanted to say they were struggling, and some of them maybe were. Have you kept in touch with some or all of your teammates through this period? And have you found that actually some people are dealing with this in very different ways? Some doing well, some actually are quite struggling.
Yeah, I think it's been a real mix. I think some people have found it quite hard, quite difficult. whereas some people seem to be thriving in it. So it's been a real mix, and it's you know, I don't think it's straightforward, as none of these things are, but I think people respond to things very differently, and some people have taken it within their stride, who are probably a bit more like internal and a bit more reflective, whereas some people who are very people orientated, and they live for being part of the team. They live of having that face-to-face contact with their teammates, with their friends, with their colleagues, and that being taken away has been quite tough for a number of people. As with everything, it's so important to talk to people. You know, talk to people who you trust, who you know have your best interest at heart. And I've often had several problems, and as soon as I've like spoken to them and actually talked to someone about it, like the weight seems a little bit lighter.